what are the main domains of the CRC?
Doctor, may I?
Please.
Okay, so the main domains of the CRC, basically the types of rights there are rights to survival, rights to development, rights to protection, and also right to participation. Do you want me to explain what?
No. Thank you very much, Heidi, for giving me all the four. Can somebody tell me what do the domains represent? When you talk about the domains of the CRC, what do you think about it?
Doctor, if I may.
Yes, Jane?
Basically, the domains refer to the rights of the children, so that, like what Heidi has just said just now, the four rights, and these rights are really important and should always be upheld whenever we deal with matters concerning children, so that we ensure that they grow in very holistic manners and they grow up into well-developed adults.
Great. So you're holding on to the domains as like a target points in order to ensure that children will grow holistically. Okay. Now I want you all to jump to question number 3. All right. You see question number 3? Okay. Can somebody answer question number 3, please?
Doctor, if I may. Am I audible?
Yes.
So there are 4 main principles underlying the whole CRC, where these principles are the guiding principles that apply whenever we interpret any provisions in the CRC and other legal provisions for child's right. The first main principle is that the best interest of the child shall be the primary consideration in the making of any decision. So this is enumerated in Article 3, Para 1 of the CRC, where it was stated that in all actions concerning children, whether undertaken by public or private social welfare institution, courts of law, administrative authorities, or legislative bodies, the best interest of the child shall be primary consideration. So this principle can be divided into 4 parts for discussion purposes. The first part would be in regards to the definition of in all action concerning children. So according to para 18, even inaction or failure to take action and omission also fall within the definition of action. Besides, the word action also means that it does not only include decisions, but also all acts, conducts, proposals, services, procedures, and other measures. So, as to the word concerning, it does not merely refer to the matter directly affecting the children, but also includes those which indirectly affect children. In the committee's general comment number 7 in 2005, the action that concerns with children includes those aimed at children, as well as those action which includes children and other population groups. So, therefore, the word concerning must be interpreted in a broad sense. So following this, the word children simply means all persons under the age of 18 within the jurisdiction of the state party. The second part of the principle of best interest of the child will be regarding the phrase by public or private social welfare institution, courts of law, administrative bodies, and legislative body. So this part is quite comprehensive as it listed out most of the related party. But one point to note is that parents are also included in this context, although they are not explicitly named in the provision. The third part of the principle discusses about the best interest of the child. So there is basically no one fixed rule as to what constitutes the best interest of the child because it's determined in a case-by-case basis. The concept of flexible and adaptable can be adjusted and defined based on the individual himself, which is the child or the children himself. So the best interest of the child must be assessed and determined in light of the specific circumstances of that particular child or children. The last part for this first principle will be concerning the phrase of shall be a primary consideration. So the word shall be place a strong obligation on the states to consider the child's best interest as the primary consideration in making any decision. The expression of primary consideration, on the other hand, means that child's best interest may not be considered on the same level as other consideration, but instead shall be the primary or even paramount consideration in certain situations, like in adoption or certain cases in our Law Reform Act. And the second main principle underlying CRC is the principle of non-discrimination, which is in
Thank
Article.
you, Nitin. Yeah, thank you very much because you have comprehensively described the principle of best interest of the child. I hope you all don't look at those words or those breakdowns as given by Yitin as mere theories. Try to truly absorb them because, as I've said in lecture, this principle of best interest is really easier said than done. And what Yitin has given us just now is really what the principle truly means. When as I was listening to Yitin just now, it just goes to show just how important it is, isn't it? I mean, the obligation is on all of us to actually think about this best interest of the child principle, because we are among the concerning parties, right? And also in putting it not merely as a primary, but a paramount consideration. We need to say that when we think about the principle, we think about the children's best interest more than everything else. Okay, this may not be something that is easier to comprehend at all times, So when we go into the issues later, be it victims of child abuse and neglect, be it children who come into conflict with the law, I need you to have this very, very important principle at the back of your mind, and ask yourself, really, are we doing, in this particular case, what is truly in the best interest of the child? Okay, would somebody else like to give me the other three underlying principles of the CRC? Thank you, Yitin.
Doctor, if I may.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So the
Go
second,
ahead.
the second one is principle of non-discrimination. So
Okay.
according to the Article 2, Article 2 laid down the principle of non-discrimination. So children are more discriminated because they have lesser power as compared as to the adults. This is a result of children's dependence on adults and adults' reluctance to give them more decision-making power as they develop the ability to exercise it themselves. So some types of discrimination faced by children include age discrimination and other grounds such as gender disability or sexual orientation, and sometimes because of a combination of reasons. So the UN Committee on the Rights of the Child has so far identified 53 grounds of discrimination against children based either on their identity or the identity of their parents. Hence, there is the need for children empowerment, and in order to do so, the children need to be aware of their rights. In Malaysia, the Ministry of Health is one part of public bodies that truly embodies this principle, since the doctor does not practice discrimination when treating the children. The same could not be said for the Ministry of Education, because most stateless children are not allowed to be enrolled in public school.
Anissa, this discussion remains here, okay?
Alright,
Ministry of Education tak panggil lah nanti.
alright.
Just kidding. No, what you said is actually the truth. I mean, that's the fact, isn't it? We all talk about stateless children, them not having the right education. So we are stating facts as they are. Okay? But as you all know, sometimes authorities don't like the facts being told in their face, isn't it? Anything else, Anissa? Anything else that you want to add before I interrupted you just now?
I would like to add, however, recent development in Malaysia whereby the Ministry of Education declared in 2018 that all stateless and undocumented children will be able to go to school in 2019, provided that their parents or guardians are able to present the relevant documents. Parents need to present relevant documents such as the child's birth certificate or a